Hello and welcome to Sober Philosophy.
Boo.
What? Sober Philosophy? Yep, Dan's not drinking until March.
Sorry.
Whatever, I'm drinking still.
You just gave away the fact that we're recording this sometime before March.
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like it ruins the experience.
It doesn't. It only ruins it for one of us. Yes, this is 50% sober philosophy, but we're still going to call it drunken philosophy because Connor's still drunken.
I need help.
He does. Yeah, one of us found God, and the other one is me.
So this is a podcast where we talk about philosophy topics.
Yeah, it's usually we're both drunk and I'm trying to explain philosophy to Connor, and this time it's just going to be me getting frustrated with Connor.
I was just going to say, it's just going to be you getting frustrated with me.
That's one thing I've definitely noticed since stopping drinking. I'm just taking a break, by the way. I'm not really an alcoholic. I mean, I am, but but yeah, the one thing I noticed is that my patience with
your
drunk
shit
people,
meter is
it's just
way low.
Like people could just say so much shit straight to my face, and I would just be like, they're just goofing around when I was drunk, and now it's just like, oh, you're so annoying. Why don't you ever just listen to me? You've been saying the same thing 8 times.
That's one thing you don't realize when you're drunk, when you keep saying shit.
Mm-hmm. Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a really fun episode, is what we're saying.
It's gonna be fun for me.
Yeah. I didn't even, I just picked this topic, but I didn't even realize how applicable it is to this conversation. So today we're going to be discussing asceticism and the ascetic lifestyle, which is not...
Ascetic or aesthetic?
Ascetic. It's different from aesthetic.
A-S-S.
Aesthetic is like, ooh, I really like this aesthetic. I like the way that looks. And ascetic, A-E-S-C something. Google it. Just type in a bunch of vowels and a bunch of S's.
Google the thing I can't spell.
Yeah, just figure it out. It's a ancient Greek philosophy of life, essentially. It's like, do you remember when we talked about Stoicism? And it's sort of like it's more of a lifestyle philosophy than it is like a, do you think time exists kind of philosophy? It's my impression of every other type of philosopher. Do you think birds can think about stuff? But so asceticism is more of a lifestyle thing, and it is the negating of all sort of pleasure in your life. Negating
all the pleasure in your life?
Yeah, it's getting rid of everything in your life that is like sort of a comfort and a worldly pleasure.
Why would somebody do that?
So that's the question, dear Watson.
I'm Holmes. I am.
Oh yeah, you are Holmes. I forgot. It's basically, I mean, a lot of times it's associated with religion, think of it like a Buddhist monk.
You're already losing me. Those people are idiots.
Think about like a Buddhist monk and how they basically like get rid of everything in their life and like take vows of poverty and silence or whatever and just like completely shut down everything.
They're along the same lines of like fucking neckbeards that just play like World of Warcraft to me. It's like they've chosen one pleasure and that's all they're gonna do.
Right? Yeah.
Their pleasure is
they
like
got their one jam and they just want to hear that song every day.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that shit.
Gotcha. Well, basically, the religious version of the practice is they shut out all those things from their life so that they could become as focused as possible and as close to the divine or as close to God. But the secular side of it and the like sort of ancient Greek philosophy side of it is ancient Rome, actually mostly, is you're blocking out all these things so that you can become closer to the quote unquote divine, which is like the centering of your mind and like happiness and purely focusing on what your mind is supposed to do, like getting the maximum amount of power from yourself by getting rid of all these distractions that are worldly pleasures. Does that make slightly more sense?
Yeah, but I don't understand how I don't think it's the right way.
Well, we're not here to debate that.
I mean, a lot of things distract me.
Sure.
But at the same time, those are all fun. It's just my life. It's just I'm having fun.
I mean, I think there's also part of it like...
What does my life just be? Super bland, just trying to get divine?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's stupid to me.
Well, you have to remember is like a lot of these ascetics... The ascetics sort of it was a lifestyle choice that sort of bled into a lot of different philosophical groups. Like a lot of Stoics led an ascetic lifestyle. A lot of Cynics sort of did. And it's basically you realize after a while, like if you're trying to be as happy as possible, what they all sort of came to the conclusion of was every time I want something, every time I have a desire, and every time I try to get something, even if I do get that thing, it doesn't make me happy. It's just like this outside distraction that is stopping me from like reaching my full potential. And so they were like, oh, well, the easiest way, like the Stoics said, well, then just change the way you think about stuff. Like, don't desire the things that won't make you happy. The Cynics were like, yeah, those things are stupid. You don't need any of that shit. What you really need is like this other stuff. And Ascetics just said, fuck everything. Like, you don't need anything. That's the answer.
I think that's, like, I don't need an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But I don't think that would make me, I mean, I would be happy and excited to come home and play with it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I on the bad side of that? Like,
no, but I think they would say that you wouldn't actually be getting as much fulfillment as you think. Like, you always think you're gonna be happy with something.
But this is an on and off switch. Like, you're either doing this or you're not, and I don't want to do it.
I'm not like, trying to make you.
No, I know, but I'm saying like you're either gonna like go full bore on it, or you're not.
You can't really half-ass it.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a very extreme philosophical lifestyle. I mean, these people were essentially homeless. They were like homeless and starving.
Oh, they were homeless? I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I know, it's shocking.
Are you serious?
Right? Yeah, but they were like those dickheads on Hate Street. They were like on purpose homeless.
Yeah.
So they made these pretty drastic life choices, which I don't really agree with, but
like homosexuality.
Yeah. It's Adam and Eve.
On the record, Dan does not agree with homosexuality.
Yeah. But it's, I don't know, it's difficult for me to really argue like whether or not it worked because I don't really know what they're trying to achieve with it. Like,
they're not. They're just comfortable with themselves because that's what they chose.
I guess, but it's asceticism is interesting for me.
You could set any kind of benchmark for yourself, and if you achieve it, you're going to feel really happy about it.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless it's just like, I want to overdose on heroin.
Well, no, but like, people set benchmarks for themselves all the time, and then when you get the thing that you've been working so hard for, you're usually not happy.
Well, if it's like material, but I mean, just kind of emotionally, like
even other stuff, like I mean, it's like a psychological thing where it's like people always. That's why people always say it's about the journey, not the destination, man. Because
when hit like, this dab.
When like, let's say, okay, what I really want to do is like this specific job or whatever, and so I focus really hard on it and I like work to that goal for years, and then when I finally get it, it's never gonna be the happiness that I built it up to be in my head.
It's only because you made a bad decision on where to set your benchmark.
No, I don't think that's true. I think it's just psychologically our anticipation of how much we'll enjoy something is always greater than actually enjoying it. Like, let's say the Niners had made it to the Super Bowl this year. If they had won the Super Bowl, if you had told me a week beforehand, be like, hey, the 49ers are in the Super Bowl, like, what are you going to feel when they win? I'll be like, I would be fucking stoked. It would be great. It would be like one of the best days of the year. And then when they actually won, I would be like, cool, football's over now. I just feel like, great.
Is this why, like, I remember a very vivid memory of my babysitter driving me to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, this is going to get dark.
No, it's not. And I remember the drive taking there was, like, forever.
Yeah.
And the drive home was very quick.
Yeah. It's that. Yeah, you build up this anticipation, and it's like it makes the goal seem greater than it actually is. Like, your brain tricks you into thinking it's this crazy thing, and then when you actually get to Chuck E. Cheese, you're just like, oh, somebody shit in the slide, and this pizza's not very good.
the robot band is not as good as I remember.
Exactly.
I was 24, by the way, when this happened.
Right, your babysitter was me. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. So I think like Stoics, Cynics, and Aesthetics, a lot of people saw that as a problem. They saw these people chasing after whatever their life goal had to be, whether it was materialistic or not. They still weren't happy at the end of the day. And so they're like, okay, well then what is happiness? Maybe happiness is, controlling your mind enough to be happy, to make yourself happy, to find happiness in whatever you're doing as opposed to constantly chasing after these things. And Aesthetics really took that to the deep end, and they were like, yeah, so just get rid of all those things, and like you'll focus yourself and you'll be just this thinking thing that has no other attachment to the world.
Could anybody do that? That's my question. Like,
yeah.
So anybody could do that, and everybody would be happier if they did that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying anybody could do it. Yeah, anybody could be homeless and poor. It's your choice.
That's my thing. It's like, I feel like people who... It's the same people who take on anything, like fucking... Like Scientology. Everybody's gonna fucking tote Scientology. Everybody's gonna tote... It's like, what you gotta do, man, is just, like, work out all week, and then on the weekends, fucking get crazy.
That just sounds like a pretty good plan.
It does sound like a good plan, but nobody follows it.
Listen, I'm gonna sign up. They've convinced me.
Like, you can like, somebody can set rules for you, and you feel better when you abide by them,
right.
Or you set rules for yourself,
right?
And when you abide by them, you feel better.
It's true. I mean, I think a lot of these philosophy of lifestyle schools back in the day was like there were a lot of idiots running around that were like, I don't know how to live. And so they would meet some guy who's like, I've read a book. And they're like, I don't even know what a book is. And it's like, well, do this with your life. And you go, okay. And that's how you get followers. I mean, that's what Jesus did.
How do you do it on Twitter? Because
controversial.
I'm really low on followers. I want to get more followers.
Use a bunch of hashtags and buy bots.
Oh, okay.
That's how the cool kids do it. But so another interesting thing about asceticism to me is they're constantly toting this idea of like, we're cutting out all pleasure and essentially happiness.
They don't even fuck either, do they?
No, probably not. Yeah, they probably don't take in the carnal pleasures.
You're getting rid of one of the most amazing, best parts about being a human, and just like, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I'm happier.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been happier than mid-orgasm. Right after the orgasm, not very happy.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm saying. The build-up of a goal and then immediately afterwards.
I was reading an article about it, and it's like there's something in a male's brain that right after orgasm, that's why you always want to go to sleep or or you feel bad about yourself. You release something as well, like after like 30 seconds, it's like you either feel shameful or like tired or and just like shitty about it,
or like a proud captain standing on the bow of a ship.
Have you ever done? I've never came and just been like, that was incredible.
I usually don't say it with that sort of gusto, but yeah, I feel like that would freak out whoever I was with. But yeah, I mean, I've been post-sex and been like, that was really great.
Yeah, but you're following it up with like love and like compassion for another person. But
what's that like?
I don't know. Like, so that even though you have those things going on in your brain, that's why when you jack off, you feel really bad afterwards.
Yeah, or like really good, like you feel awesome.
No, I feel awesome, but then it's just like, I gotta like pull it together here, take a shower, get out of the house.
Yeah, I usually go straight into the bathroom and then just stand in the mirror flexing for like 30 or 40 minutes. But no, I think one thing that I think is interesting is they're cutting out all these pleasures and all this stuff. Anything that somebody would consider like things that would make you happy, and there's like, we don't need happiness, we need to cut all this stuff out. But it almost seems like they're cutting out all the things that are pleasurable so they can seek this one thing that is like happiness and pleasure to them in their mind, which is to have no pleasure. Like it's almost like a paradox.
Yeah.
We're like, we're getting rid of all pleasure in our lives.
Catch-22.
So we can
get out of that tree, second character.
He's got flies in his eyes, but he can't see the flies in his eyes because he's got flies in his eyes. I'm glad I can reference a book that I only read a good 2/3 of in high school.
No, it's really big. You can't read that whole thing.
It's really
it was a really
big,
good
guys.
book. I read it too, like in high school, and it was really good, but
Yeah.
it was very long.
Yeah. Cut it down. Edit it up, Heller.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's interesting that they're all sort of chasing this thing where it's like, okay, so then what do you get at the end of the day if you cut out all of your pleasure and all this stuff? And it's like, oh, well, then I'll be happy. And it's like, wow, that doesn't seem like it makes any sense. Like cutting out all the things that make people happy.
I'm gonna cut out all pleasure and then be happy at the end of it.
Yeah, it doesn't really add up in my mind. I almost understand the religious side of it more, because if there's like, oh, we're trying to get closer to the divine God, I'm just like, all right, that's just your bag then. Like that's what you want to do. That's how you think.
Sweet bag, by the way.
Yeah, super cool tote bag. Where'd you get that?
Mark by Mark Jacobs.
Yeah. That's the one possession that they all hold on to. They all have
they got rid of all pleasure
super sick
except for
designer
Mark
bags.
for Mark by Mark Jacobs.
Yeah, exactly.
By Jacobs for Mark.
So that's basically asceticism, and then on the flip side of that, you've probably heard of this, is hedonism.
That's
which
me.
That's you essentially in a nutshell. But no, hedonism is literally the exact opposite, which is the most important thing is pleasure and happiness comes from seeking pleasure. So whatever that means for you seeking pleasure, I mean, I'm sure there's like tenets where it's like don't murder other people, like if that's your thing.
Well, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure it's happiness without like negating other people's happiness. Like it was just a big old love fest.
Here's the thing, man. I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert, and you've heard it before. We've talked about it before.
Okay.
It's all about the middle, man.
Jesus Christ.
it is. Like you can't be like full on hedonist and like expect to feel good. Like drinking every day doesn't feel good.
What about in ancient Greece though? I feel like you could totally get away with that. Like if you were a reasonably wealthy person in ancient Greece and you were just like, I'm just gonna drink and have sex and eat all day and like, and what if pleasure is not just, you know, carnal physical pleasures? What if it's like, I'm just gonna like watch this movie because I think it'll be good, and I'm just gonna read this book because I've heard it was good, and I'm gonna have sex with this chick because I heard it was good.
Yeah, but she's not that pretty, but I heard it was good.
I heard it was good.
Thanks, Dan, for telling me about that. We like to have sex with the same chicks.
I mean, we're in a weird club.
It's like a weird sex Yelp.
But
oh my god, that's an app idea.
Sex Yelp?
Sex for Yelp for sex.
Don't there? Isn't that what that girls thing on Facebook is? Where it's like,
kind of. But what if we just made one for men? It was
what's
just
that
like
one called?
Yelp for
Lulu.
Lulu, yeah.
Yeah, everybody get on.
That's
Lulu.
all. That's dating though.
Is it though? Because you can talk about sex on there.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Is it all hashtags though?
Yeah, it's
or
all
it's
hashtags.
like hashtags big dick.
Hashtag meatloaf in his pants.
That doesn't sound good at all. That's like the worst thing you could use to describe.
Either he pooped himself on the date or he's got a fat hog.
But it just looks like a bunch of cooked hamburger meat that's smashed together. Like it's the least attractive penis. Oh man. But yeah, I mean that's sort of Yelp for dating.
You know what I was thinking about
Yelp for
today?
sex,
Now
right?
that I'm single, I think I might actually...
Ladies, Connor's single by the way.
Ladies, when you hear this in 3 months, I'll probably be in a very dedicated relationship. But
you should go on Lulu and give him good hashtags.
if you get a demo tape that we hand out. No, but like I think I feel like I want to be on Lulu now. Now that I'm dating a bunch of people and like going out.
Oh,
for drinks.
really? You think? I guess yeah. The same people who use dating apps are going to be the same people who would go on Lulu.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the one thing. Like that's why I know I would probably never show up on there. Is like I'm never going to date the kind of girl that would one know what that is, and two bother to use it.
Yeah.
And three bother to use it for me. They
Yeah.
probably dated much more interesting people that they're going to come up with interesting hashtags for.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's like I was telling you the other day. It's more I'm just like looking for friends.
Just need a conversation person.
Like last night when I went on that date with that chick, it's like I just gave her a kiss on the cheek. It's like, hey, it was nice to meet you. Bye. I'll probably never talk to you again.
Well, she was your grandmother, so.
Yeah. She gave me a real wet kiss on the cheek.
That's cool. You should just come hang out with me and the people that I know.
I know.
If you want friendship, I have friends that you can also be friends with.
That's the thing. When you were in a dedicated relationship for 2 years, you shut off a lot of avenues.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't have many friends. Well, that's not true. I had some friends in Santa Cruz, but I lived in a house with 8 people, so it was kind of hard to avoid having friends. But yeah, being in a relationship is weird. You sort of shut off that part because you're like, what do I need a friend for? Like,
Yeah. I've got the friends that I already have.
Yeah.
That I like a lot.
And I have this person who's a friend, and I get to sleep with her. So what do I need? I got everything I need right here. But yeah, you can just keep going on your Tinder dates and your Lululemons and your pasta prima donnas.
And my
I don't understand.
what was the
anything.
Mexican knockoff I came up with for Lululemon?
Luis Melon.
Luis Melon.
Yeah. It's good stuff. But anyway, you're sort of living a hedonistic lifestyle right now.
Yeah, right now.
How's that going for you? Do you feel fulfilled?
Yeah, I mean, I have fun. Like,
I mean, I'm also sort of living a hedonistic. I've been living a hedonistic lifestyle for a while, where it's just like
I don't think it's like
do whatever I want.
it's just the mode you get in for a second, and then you bring it back to the middle of just like, yeah, let's not go out for drinks all the time, and like I got to focus on like myself and like getting in shape and like, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
not
I guess I'm not
drinking and,
living
like-
full hedonistic considering I quit drinking for a month. That's probably it's not really following through. But then also it's like I don't know. I guess it depends on your definition of like what you consider hedonist. Like I quit drinking because I wanted to like feel good and healthy.
Do you feel better?
I do a little bit.
Like enough to
make it worth it? Probably not. I mean, I feel better. Like I definitely noticed that my face stopped swelling up so much. So I have that like cool Irish thing where every time you drink, your nose gets really big and red, and your face just turns into like a melon. But yeah, other than that, I still just feel like a normal person. I never would get terrible hangovers unless I would go like way too crazy.
Yeah. I don't think we ever did that really.
Yeah.
That often.
If I was like doing shots, then the next day I would feel pretty much like
Well, I'll do shots, but I've got a...
I could never really handle
I've got a liver like a fucking steel horse, if that makes any sense.
I'm pretty proud of my liver. I wish I could take 7 years off and just like fast forward so I could have a whole brand new liver to start off with. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I think that like I think my liver has so much psoriasis that it just doesn't even like it doesn't work anymore. And I just shit it out later.
It's just like Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
it's just everything just flying right through it. So anyway, that's hedonism, obviously the opposite side, and what you've been boldly alluding to every 2 seconds is the middle path for everybody.
That's what it is, man.
Which is...
You can't do both.
I mean, it's a Buddhist tenet.
Listen, most people aren't rich enough to be completely hedonistic.
Yeah.
And then nobody's got the fucking willpower to be whatever the other one, asinine or
totally asinine.
Aztec.
Ascetic.
Ascetic, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this, and then once again, this fucking podcast goes right back to the middle.
Right back to the middle. I mean, do you think the best way to do it is like... Do you think you pick certain things in your life that you're going to be pleasure-seeking about, like certain aspects of your life and certain aspects that you're going to hold yourself back on, or is it a case-by-case basis?
I think it's that. I also think it's cyclical. So, like, you'll go fucking super hedonistic for a while.
Go through phases or
and
whatever.
And then pull it back.
Yeah. I think mostly, I mean, the reason people choose these more extreme methods isn't because
they can't control it.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's partially because they can't control it, but also because, like, no one can really control it. Like that feeling of going cyclically through cycles of your life. You're like, oh, I was doing this for a couple years and now I'm more like this kind of person and now I'm this kind of person. I think people reached a point when they were like 35 or 40, which was very old in ancient Rome.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm not happy doing any of these things. Like I don't feel fulfilled doing any of this stuff. So...
But that brings in a whole nother philosophy of just being in the moment. Of just like, this is like... As long as you're happy right now, doing whatever you're doing, it may change, and don't fear change. But you know,
I mean that's sort of like what Stoicism was like, and I mean this is all the stuff you're talking about is essentially Buddhism, the middle path and being in the moment and all that shit. Yeah. It's essentially just like don't become too attached to the world, but also don't become like. Don't become a total fuck off and just like not give a shit about the world.
Or don't become a complete like fucking concrete head, like fucking I think even Buddha said just like don't follow me like strictly like
totally. It was very loosey goosey, which is why it's not really a religion. It's more of just like a lifestyle thing. It's like
Hannah Lapola, if you're listening, get rid of those dreads, girl.
If any white person
I'm gonna take this episode and post it directly on our Facebook wall.
if any white person is listening, get rid of those dreads, girl.
Yeah, that's true. They don't smell good. They don't feel good to run your hands through. So
you can't run your hands through. You just get trapped.
What is the deal with dreads?
Like as a thing?
Like I understand dreads like on a black person because like their hair is very coarse and curly and it's
it just kind of happens naturally.
It's like easier and it looks good on you and so like just deal with it. But like with a white person like and trying to use wax and like all this crazy shit to
That's what I don't get is like on anybody I think it's like kind of a nasty haircut. It's just a recipe for gross hair. But
even for black people though, because like
on black people it look cool, but it's still like if
not long ones. I'm talking about like short ones.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is like on black people it happens naturally.
Yeah.
Like it's just that's what happens if you don't do anything to black hair.
Yeah.
But white people, you have to go through so much work to make your hair disgusting.
Yeah, you are the epitome of just like a walking fucking sham.
It is just so gross. Like
you try so hard every morning to get it like that.
Yeah, it's like you put in years of effort to just have the grossest like bird's nest hair I've ever seen, and you filled it with like ribbons and beads and like
God.
Get out of here. Go back to Burning Man.
Just stay at Burning Man.
Yeah. Go back and then just stay there and just live.
I don't want to be behind you in a coffee shop and smell your dreads and beads.
Those people also do a lot of drugs too.
Yeah, it's a lot of weed smoking.
No,
I think weed
popping pills and shit too, like
white people.
Yeah, just white people in general. No, I mean like every time I see somebody who's like white and has dreads, it's always like I'm always surprised to find out that they go to like electronic dance music shows and just like
well, that's just the fad
do
right
a
now.
shitload of
And I can
Molly.
understand like doing Molly because it's just like the feeling behind dreads is just like I don't know, but like it's the feeling of love surrounded you. Like it's very Burning Man to take Molly because it's
it's very hedonistic.
It's very hedonistic of everybody who does it.
It is. Burning Man is a real hedonism fest.
It really is actually.
Yeah, it's total indulgence for just like how long is it? Like 4 days or something like that?
No, it's like a week, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I would fucking
People go
die.
for like 3 days, but like it's a week long or 2 weeks long.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Being out in the desert with a bunch of dirty, gross people on drugs for a week.
Like people always give me shit about this. Like even like people I really love and care for, like who go to Burning Man. It's like they give me shit. It's like I don't want to be with a bunch of weird like drunk ecstasied out hippies.
Yeah.
Being all like lovey dovey and like trying to give me like weird shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want this necklace you made. Like, I'm never gonna wear this, and this connection isn't enough to be like, oh, remember when she gave me this necklace?
Yeah. But yeah, everybody who goes there, there's like, oh, it's so much better when you're there. Like everyone's just so nice, and it's just like a total love fest. It's like, yeah, because you were on ecstasy the whole time, and so was everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, drug-induced friendships are drug-induced. Like,
For sure. Met a lot of people on Molly that I thought I would call the next day, and I never did.
Never once called that person. Never went to his trap music show.
Probably super good though.
He's probably super good. But yeah, that's kind of that's a perfect example of why a hedonistic lifestyle can be a total turnoff. Because whenever you meet those people, you're just like, fucking do something else. Like, I don't know. It sounds really cliche.
You know what? This is the thing. If you've met like a businessman who is super hedonistic.
Well, that's like that just reminds me of like the dude from American Psycho.
No, but I mean, like if you went out with he had like a super awesome job and he was hedonistic, like you'd hang out with him. He's like, let's go out to a fucking bar. Let's be respectful, but try to get laid.
Yeah, let's be respectful.
I'll buy all your drinks. Let's just go, man. Let's just go.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fuck yeah, this guy's the best.
Right.
But when you get to like, also being like hedonistic, like you need a lot of money. Like you can't.
Yeah, it's true. It depends on like what sort of lifestyle you want to choose to be a hedonist. If your idea of being hedonistic is just like I want to roll around in grass all day, like that's what I like to do, and then that's pretty cheap.
Then you realize you're hanging out with a dog, and
you realize you wake up one day and you realize you are a dog, and you're like, oh, I've just been rolling around in grass all day for 30 years.
I'm glad that my owner came back after 175 years.
Man, dogs are totally hedonists.
Well, they are. I think
And
all
cats-
species besides humans.
Cats are total ascetics, though. They don't like joy and pleasure.
You think so? I think they do.
No, they do. They're very coy about it.
Yeah, they're just assholes about it.
Yeah, just always being dicks.
Could you imagine a cat at Burning Man?
I bet you there are cats at Burning Man.
No, but
I bet they fucking hate it.
Yeah, they're just like, this is really fun. I really love it, but I don't know. Maybe not.
No thanks. Oh, you're gonna burn that? Oh, all right.
I'm going back to the tent. I'm gonna curl up in a ball on the
Really
corner.
nice hula hooping.
Please don't make any noise when you come in, because I'm gonna leave. Go to the litter box.
Fucking passive aggressive bitch cat.
That's the new sketch, Cat at Burning Man.
Yeah. Cool devil sticks.
Your juggling was like pretty good, but you could get better.
Yeah, my friend knows how to juggle. It's not a big deal.
He juggles axes made of fire.
Do you guys have any catnip? Oh, that's cool. I don't want any anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna leave anyways.
That's cool. I was about to leave anyways.
I was.
That'd be great. Just character as a normal person at a party. Hey, do you guys have any Molly? No. That's cool. I was gonna leave anyways. It's like, oh, all right. What were you gonna do if we did have drugs? You just gonna take them and then leave?
Don't touch me.
Oh God. All right. So I think we've totally debunked whether or not hedonistic lifestyle or ascetic lifestyle is a good choice.
Isn't it weird that making fun of hedonists is more fun than...
It is. Making fun of ascetics just seems like you're laughing at homeless people.
Yeah,
It's just like, look at that dumb idiot. He can't eat.
No, but you see like those like weird like monks who get rid of everything. It's like you can't really... What is it about that you can't make fun of those monks?
Because, I mean, there's something...
Is there something in all of us that's
there's
just
something that feels virtuous about it.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving up... Like, oh, there must be a really good reason why he's giving up all that stuff that I like. Like, oh, he's never going to eat mac and cheese again. Like, he must be such a virtuous person. It's very weird. Like, and it's also like you can't really... Indulgence is much easier to make fun of because it's like, look at that idiot who's just like overdoing it.
It's because you don't have it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's the same reason you laugh at people who are fall down drunks until you're the one who's falling down drunk.
Then I laugh at myself.
Yeah, and then you cry a little bit. And then I take my shirt off.
No, basically I get home and I make sure I lay on my side. And then I wake up in the morning and I have a panic attack. By the way, I want to tell you, there's a condition, actually, for what I have.
Oh, really?
Well, it's a colloquialism, but...
I'm going to catch up the listeners. So everyone should know for like the past, 3 months now?
Yeah, something like that.
Every time Connor drinks too much and wakes up with a hangover, he would start having a panic attack because the hangover was like too intense and his brain couldn't handle it. But now it's been happening so much that now it's just like a brain thing where even if he's not hungover, sometimes he'll just like wake up and start having a panic attack.
And I also think that like I didn't have this when I was younger.
Yeah, and this is a very recent development.
Yeah, I used to wake up like fucking wasted still and be fine. I just like just go about my day.
Drive to Sonoma and go to work.
Yeah, just go to work and it's fine. But it's called the fear.
What?
It's a real thing.
I mean, I've heard the fear referred to what happens when you're on psychedelics and you start freaking out.
Well, it's all kind of the same thing.
Right.
But with drinking, I was looking it up because I was like, "Fuck, what the fuck is going on with me?" And then Matt, I was walking, I was telling him about my condition now, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's called the fear." And I thought he just made that up because Matt makes up a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's trying to spook you.
But then,
that means you have a ghost in your belly.
No, but then I talked to Rob, the bartender over at Thieves, and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on? How you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I got the fear." I was like, "Wait, what do you have?" He's like, "The fear." I was like, "So that's a thing, actually?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's a total thing. You wake up and you're on the verge of a panic attack all day long. Your chest is very tight. You feel like you can't really breathe very well. And then you also feel like you're going to die."
Does it come from drinking, though? Like, what is it from?
Yeah, it comes from drinking.
That's so weird.
And because it's a depressant.
Okay.
But also, like, you have this feeling like you're going to die. Like, it basically, the description of it is like, you've made some choices that have now affected your life for the rest of it.
Oh, that's what it feels like?
Yeah. Like, I'm going to just have this feeling for the rest of my... Because it goes on all day and you're like, oh my God, I think I just fucked myself up.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the dissociative fear that you get when you're on psychedelics, where it's like, is this going to be forever?
Yeah. So it works for psychedelics too, but like, when I was walking around, when I had the fear, like super bad, I was like, I'm gonna get hit by a car. Like I know, like a car's gonna crash into that car. That car's gonna flip over and like hit me.
What are you supposed to do for it? Just
you can't do anything. All you do is drink water and then you fall asleep.
You can't.
And you wake up the next day and it's. Well, I'm sure you could.
Yeah, but that's a Xanny prescription.
No, that's the last thing I want for my anxiety. Like I want to be able to deal with it myself.
You could give them to me.
Well, I know. I was telling that to a coworker. She was like, "You should just get Xanax." And I was like, no, Xanax are for fun. They're not for treating illnesses.
Xanax are for selling to high schoolers and telling them it's Vicodin.
No, I don't want to. I don't even take Tylenol.
I would never want to do that either.
I don't want to take any kind of pills.
Yeah, I only take.
Because that just makes me even more. I feel like more crazy. Like now I need a prescription to take care of myself.
No, yeah, you just gotta drink water and sleep more probably.
No, I just need to not go hard anymore.
Go big or go hard.
I think I've reached that point in my life where I don't go hard anymore.
Man, this is going to be super boring podcast when I start drinking again, and you're like, ooh, I can only have one beer.
It's not when I'm like drunk. It's when I'm the fucking wasted.
Oh.
That's when I get it.
Well, I agree you shouldn't do that either because you get real sloppy. You're real sloppy poppy.
Every time I get super wasted like that, I always wake up and I go like, man, I said some real shitty shit to people.
Really?
Yeah, like at the birthday party, like I went up to Molly and I was like, she was talking with Dylan, and like she seemed like into him, and I was like, hey Molly, I'm single. She's like, okay, great. I was like, I'm just letting you know because like now I'm single, and like, And like in my mind, that sounded cool.
You're the smoothest operator
No, I
ever.
always make those mistakes when I'm drunk. I think I'm
Jesus.
sounding smooth,
Yeah,
but I'm
that
not.
was
I
the
sound like
exact
a
opposite.
fucking moron.
Man, I should just follow you around and tell you.
That's why I
you're
talked.
fucking up.
That's when I saw Molly at the bar the other night. I was like,
Oh, right,
I was
you
an idiot.
apologized,
So sorry about that. She's like, yeah, you were an idiot.
She wasn't offended.
No, I know she's never offended. I know that, but it's just like that's why I
super
apologized.
funny, though. Oh my god.
And then she's like, you just had sex in the bathroom. I was like, I know, but I'm
Yeah,
single.
seriously. That's the worst part. Is like you literally just finished having sex less than 5 minutes beforehand.
See, I'm a businessman. I always think ahead.
Mm-hmm. Planting those seeds of doubt in everyone's mind
Or-
that you are a sane person.
Or pregnancy.
Yeah, some seed somewhere. All right, I think that's enough for this.
That was the
episode.
first bear share corner. What would we call it?
Oh yeah, that was a good. Yeah, I think it was
Connor's bear share corner.
Share corner. I think that's what we called it.
Something like that.
Share corner. I think it was just something like that. Who gives a
I think
shit?
it was bear share.
But the download, like Kazaa?
Kazaa or LimeWire?
Yeah, was it the LimeWire share corner? All right, that wraps it up. Do you have anything you want to plug? I have no idea when this is actually going to go up, so.
I want to plug my workout. Follow me on Fitocracy. No, I don't have anything to plug.
All right,
yet.
cool. Go Wikipedia some stuff.
Oh, I do have. Oh, I don't have. Yeah, wait. It's called. Yeah, I have a podcast. I met a guy. He was super nice. He came into my restaurant. He went to the Stitcher Awards and he was up for Best Food Podcast. And it's Beats and Eats.
Oh yeah, Beats and Eats.
Beats and Eats. So that guy was super rad. His wife was nice as shit, and he was very generous to me. So
shout out to Beats and Eats, yo.
Listen to him. Fuck Alton Brown.
Yeah, I would. He's a smart man.
He's a very nice man, but fuck him anyways.
Let's have a sign off?
We do not have one.